Agnes Igoye is a Ugandan social worker and campaigner against human trafficking. She serves as the country's deputy chair to the National Prevention of Trafficking in Persons Office, Uganda. In addition to being the training manager at the country's Directorate of Citizenship and Immigration Control, she is also the founder of Hearts for Peace and Coming Home, a rehabilitation center that provides assistance to orphaned children, some of whom were abducted and trafficked. She's clearly a woman in the lead.
A woman in the lead, first of all, what comes to my mind is that what's her story? Because when a woman is in the lead, they definitely have a story. A story how they got there, a story of triumph, a story of struggles, a story of when did she get the self-esteem, a story of her childhood, who brought her up, who was surrounding her in that process. So all women in the lead, and not just, and when I look at women in the lead, I'm just not looking at the CEO or someone. I'm looking at even, you can be in the lead when you're a sweeper, when you're sweeping. You can be in the lead in every profession when you're teaching. Because we all know many of the women in the lead actually are deputies. So they are deputies. There's either, whether it's president, you always find vice president in an organization. So I look at those ones as well. So when you say women in the lead, I look at even the domestic workers in our homes. They are leaders in our homes and bringing up children, as the men or other people go to work. So when I hear woman in the lead, it's not just about that CEO.
This graduate of both Oxford and Harvard universities has not had it easy right from the very beginning. She had to rise from cultural obscurity to an illustrious career.
First of all, it begins from how even did I get a career? Because, unlike today things are improving and people are increasingly getting used to the idea that a girl can actually even go to school. During my time, there was no UPE. By the age of 10, I was called, they gave me a nickname, like the nickname they always give girls, Amalayat. It meant prostitute. Then I made her a promise. You can imagine at 10 that, Mommy, I'm going to work really, really very hard and embarrass this man by succeeding in life. A 10-year-old. And my mother reminded me of that. And for me, working hard meant that I would do the things the boys do, to challenge. So I walked to school like 5 kilometers, to school and another 5 back, with the boys, the teasing, the what, but like I was determined that, I have to do things these boys do and challenge the status quo. So that's how it started.
Undoubtedly, one of the gallant Ugandans at the front line of a very dangerous war, a war against human trafficking. One might wonder how it does feel and what it means to her as a woman.
It brings me satisfaction, first of all, because for me, I'm not that kind of person. Some people, because it is a huge thing, they feel like, oh, what impact it is. But for me, even if it's just one person, at a time. And so sometimes I look at survivors and you've seen them at their lowest moments. But, when you see that at least they've picked up the pieces, I mean, that is great. And then there's also preventive work, where you support, because I do a lot of mentoring, even of young people. So that mentoring and helping them have a purpose in life sometimes keeps them away from the trafficking, itself, because there's a lot of unemployment. There's a lot of youth out there who need guidance and who need, that's why, people in leadership, I always tell people, keep your doors open. These people just want to talk, you just need direction. When we are growing up, we had parents, we had people who tell us things, even if you didn't listen. But now, children, parents don't have time for their children. Children are being, brought up through social media, and you know what social media is. it has good things to it, but also others. Recruitment has gone online. There's a lot of pornography, even, it's a form of trafficking, sexual exploitation, even during lockdown. So young people have a lot of challenges.
Career-defining moments are usually few and far between. We don't recognize them until long after they occur. Agnes has many of those pivotal moments and looks back to some of them.
Oh gosh, so many, because in career, several. But at Directorate of Citizenship and Immigration Control, for me, I think when I was given the responsibility to be in charge of the training of 400 new recruits. These were, young people coming out of university, and then their training is almost for 9 months. So you can imagine, the challenge. You bring somebody who is from university, and you bring them into service. And then I had a team. I was working then with the Commandant UPDF Marines, Brigadier Nyara, just an amazing, person. And so it was a privilege to work with him, because that's where the venue of the training was. And then with 23 others, trainers, from UPDF, from immigration and what. So, having those almost 9 months. And by then, I also had the privilege of having the late General Ronda Nyakairima, who was my minister. So it was a fast pace, and he was a workaholic. He worked really hard, and he was on hand, and I see the things we did during that time. And now when I go around the country and meet these young people who are doing amazing work.
Times have changed, so too has her story. If she could wind the clock 15-20 years back and write a letter to her younger self, what would she have to say to the woman that she was at that point in life?
Yeah, first of all, I would tell her it's going to be okay. I would tell her that it's okay to make mistakes, that you don't have to be perfect. Because when you look at, women in leadership, many people expect a woman to first be perfect, to have those peculiar qualifications. And the pressure is also not just from the men, but also from fellow women. They expect that the woman representing them has to be perfect and everything. But the men don't have this pressure. Have you seen a man when he wants to run for MP, he will just come and say, I'm a member of parliament. No one asks that, okay, what is your degree or what? But a woman, the woman herself, first of all, the confidence. She doesn't have the confidence that actually I want to be. She first wants to get that PhD and all that, even other women. So that's why it's important that when you see a woman whom you clearly know that qualifies for leadership, please tell her and encourage her to run. Because society does not. So it's very important. So I would tell my younger self that, you know what, it's going to be okay. You don't have to, to struggle. And that, despite the challenges should just be your springboards. Actually, a life without a challenge, I don't even how, you can't, because for me, the achievements in my life have come up because I've had a challenge. It's like leadership. If there's no challenge or there's no problem to do, then you are not a leader. Leaders are supposed to deal with challenges. If you're a leader without a challenge, then there's no leadership. It's not supposed to be rosy. And also to my younger self to know that, you know what, not everybody is supposed to like you or love you. Even your critics are actually very important. So whether they are, it is not constructive or not, those are the springboards that help you to actually, keep improving and rising. And that men and women, will all impact, your life. And there are so many good men out there.